Jerry West was one of the greatest basketball players in history and later a legendary executive. Here's a breakdown. As a player, played in the NBA from 1960 to 1974, all with the Los Angeles Lakers. Nickname, Mr. Clutch, for his ability to hit huge shots in critical moments. Style, he was a deadly scorer, strong defender, and a fierce competitor. He had one of the smoothest jump shots of his time. His stats, he averaged over, my favorite number, 27 points per game in his career. Title, he won one NBA championship in 1972. Legacy, he's the silhouette on the NBA logo. Okay, some believe it should be Jordan, I think so, but I'm not mad at Jerry West for getting it. But it says it's not officially confirmed, it's widely accepted. As an executive, after retiring, he became a front office genius, built the Showtime Lakers of the 1980s, drafted and traded for key stars like Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal, later helped the championship team for the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies won the championship before? Hold on. Later helped the championship team for the Memphis Grizzlies, Golden State Warriors, and the LA Clippers. Okay. I didn't know the Grizzlies won before. Reputation. Known as a perfectionist and a competitor, sometimes tortured by losses. He lost 8 finals as a player. Universally respected as both a player and an executive. Yeah, so it's crazy. I've been a fan of the NBA for a really long time. But I never really looked up the history of some of the players. I've always known of Jerry West. I've always seen his stats on the game back when I used to play NBA Live and NBA 2K. He was always ranked really high, a great three-point shooter, can handle the ball type of thing. So I kind of knew his game that way. But did I go watch any of the tapes? No. Did I respect him as like in my top 5 point guards? No, I did not. But these stats are pretty impressive. So I do consider him to be a legend. I guess I'm going to see why he's a legend here, because the video that I'm reacting to is how good was Jerry West actually. So before we get started, if you like this type of content, do me a big favor and like the video. If you want to stay up to date whenever I post, subscribe and hit that notification bell. The engagement helps the video grow, and I truly appreciate it. Let's get into it. All right, let's go.
Bill Russell was so stressed about winning that he threw up before every game. Kobe had the Mamba mentality and trained 10 hours per day. Jordan was so intense during practice that he punched Steve Kerr in the face. Almost every great player in NBA history gave everything he had to be the best. But not even Kobe or Jordan were as obsessed with basketball as Jerry West. Here is the tragic story of how Jerry developed into the best shooting guard of the 60s, became the NBA logo, and how he nearly took his own life because of basketball.
Okay, I didn't know any of this, and I didn't think I'd hear anybody more competitive than Jordan until I start seeing where Jordan got it from with the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. And I'm seeing here they're talking about Jerry West, which is wild.
Born in 1938, Jerry West was the 5th of 6 children, and his father made him obsessed with sports, but not in the way you might think. Howard West was poor and drank a lot, so even the smallest mistake was enough for him to take out his belt and beat up his kids. Jerry's older brother David was his biggest protector against Dad, but then David got sent to the Korean War and got killed in combat. Jerry lost his favorite person in the world, and the trauma turned him into a highly introverted person. And because he was extremely small and frail, doctors forbade Jerry to play sports with other children. All he could do was shoot at an old basketball hoop in the neighbor's backyard. To avoid his father, Jerry would spend all his days hooping, making shots from every possible angle, even when...
whenever they tell these stories of these men who did great things in their retrospective careers, a lot of time it comes from a lot of childhood trauma, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Even speaking from experience, the things I've been through would blow your mind. But yeah, Jerry West, similar to Larry Bird, I'm thinking of his story as well, and how hard he came up and how hard he worked and the things they had to overcome. And it just built him into something Crazy.
All his days hooping, making shots from every possible angle, even when it was raining. In his freshman year of high school, Jerry rode the bench. But over the summer, he grew to 6'3", quickly transforming into one of the best players of his generation. West made the All-State team 3 years in a row, and as a senior in 1956, he was named West Virginia Player of the Year, with an average of 32.2 points per game. With a silky smooth jump shot that he perfected in the backyard, he led East Bank to a state championship.
Averaging 30 is nice.
On top of dominating basketball, Jerry was also the best sprinter and high jumper in his high school. While half the country offered him a scholarship, Jerry eventually chose to stay in his home state and attend West Virginia University, where he led the freshman team to a 17-0 record. His teammates said West didn't have any girlfriends during his first 2 years of college.
What?
Jerry was always alone with his thoughts, talking a little bit with his teammates on...
Wow. That's a waste of college. I'm joking. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. My first year of college, I had 10 girlfriends. Easy.
Years of college. Jerry was always...
I dropped out that year, too.
Alone with his thoughts.
It was the following year.
Talking a little bit with his teammates on the court, and that was it. West never drank, he went straight home after practice, and he poured all of his energy into basketball. Jerry was also incredibly hard on himself, and he hated losing. But all that self-criticism made Jerry practice even harder. And during his junior year, he averaged 27 points and 12 rebounds per game. He tied the NCAA 5-game tournament record of 32 points per game and pushed his team to the finals. But despite Jerry's 28 points and 11 rebounds, West Virginia suffered a 71-70 loss to California, and what would be the first out of many tough pills to swallow. Still, Jerry had plenty to be happy about. He was named Most Outstanding Player of the Final Four, All-American, and Conference Player of the Year. In 3 years on the varsity team, he averaged 25 points and 13 rebounds per game. After college, West and Oscar Robertson co-captained the U.S. men's basketball team at the 1960 Summer Olympics, where they won the gold medal. Oscar and Jerry were then selected as the first 2 picks of the 1960 NBA draft. West was drafted by the Minneapolis Lakers a few months before they relocated to Los Angeles. When he got to L.A., Jerry still wasn't very social. His teammates started calling him Tweety Bird due to his high-pitched voice, but it didn't take long for everyone to stop.
Oh, man, the things you learn in these little documentaries, man. You 6'3" with a Tweety Bird voice, man, that's crazy. But then we'll dunk on you real quick.
Tweety Bird due to his high-pitched voice. But it didn't take long for everyone to stop teasing Jerry. At 6'3" and 175 pounds, West was on the smaller side. But what he lacked in size, he more than doubled in tenacity and defensive hustle. Jerry had no regard for his body and would throw himself after every loose ball. And during his career, he broke his nose a dozen times. West was also extremely athletic due to his track and field background and could fly 16 inches above the rim. Because of his fighting spirit and maniacal work ethic, Jerry quickly earned the respect of his teammates and the entire NBA. As a rookie, Jerry averaged 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. Because of his shooting prowess, West earned the nickname Mr. Outside, while the powerful small forward...
The way they used to dribble the ball back in the day was crazy.
As a rookie, Jerry averaged 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. Because of his shooting prowess...
What was that?
West earned the nickname Mr. Outside, while the powerful...
This is for they innovated all the smoothness, the handles, like you see with Kyrie, now the ball's on the string, but, I get it, the game was still developing.
Per game. Because of his shooting prowess...
I'm just looking at that like, man, I'm stealing that.
West earned the nickname Mr. Outside, while the powerful small forward Elgin Baylor became Mr. Inside due to his unstoppable drives to the basket. Before Jerry arrived, the Lakers had 5 consecutive losing seasons, but West immediately pushed them to 11 more wins and a playoff berth, where they lost to the Hawks in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals.
So this is what the NBA is missing, just this competitive nature. Sports in general is kind of losing this, where it's not just the players that are competitive, but the fans, be ready to go crazy when their team wins or loses. There's been so many debates and arguments in regards to how the players now are all buddy-buddy and all about money, things of that nature, or just trying to get their stats versus actually caring about the game and winning. Unless they can actually smell a championship, then you see them kind of get more competitive. But other than that, a lot of them are just wheeling it in.
In his second season, Jerry was given the keys to the team because Elgin Baylor had to serve in the Army. West used his opportunity to the fullest, averaging 30 points per game. And on January 17, 1962, West scored a career-high 63 points against the New York Knicks.
Wow.
West became known for hitting important late-game shots, and longtime Lakers announcer
The team had no defense.
Chick Hearn named him Mr. Clutch. Jerry made first-team All-NBA and pushed the Lakers to the best record in the conference, and the conference champions qualified directly for the conference finals. With West and Baylor both averaging over 30 points against the Pistons, LA won the Western Finals in 6 games. The NBA Finals were against the Boston Celtics, a team that would mark the entire decade and become Jerry's worst nightmare. The series was exceptionally close, with most
Best rivalry.
games decided in the final seconds. After Baylor's NBA Finals record 61-point performance, taking the series lead in Game 5, the Lakers dropped the next game, and it would all come down to Game 7. In the last seconds of the deciding game, with the game tied at 100, Lakers guard Frank Selvey had the shot for the win and the championship, but he missed it.
Selby again. A big moment. He does not make it. Russell will rebound, and this ball game goes into overtime.
Kobe wouldn't have passed that.
The game went to overtime, where the Celtics had a little bit more luck, winning 110-107. West averaged 31 points in the finals, and Baylor averaged 40, but it wasn't good enough. Despite the loss, the Lakers came back even stronger the next year. West averaged 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists, and again made All-NBA first team. LA defeated the Hawks to reach another NBA Finals, but just like the year before, they got beat by the Celtics.
This begs a question for all you Lakers fans. Who was the greatest Laker, in your opinion? You know, because when you're looking at, you know, who contributed most, you know, well, I guess the answer is obvious with this video, you know, but who do you believe is the greatest Laker of all time? Okay.
Time in 6 games. No one was affected more by those defeats than West. He took the loss harder than any player I've ever known. He would sit by himself and stare into space. A loss just ripped his guts out. Chick Hearn. West held himself to seemingly impossible standards. I'm surprised when the ball doesn't go into the hoop. I think I should make every shot, but the losses only made him work harder. In 1960,
that sounds like a hooper to me, okay? Like a gunner anyway. You know, we believe every shot is going in. You know, what did I do wrong? That's supposed to go in. You know, I love that mindset.
West held himself to seemingly impossible standards. I'm surprised when the ball doesn't go into the hoop. I think I should make every shot, but the losses only made him work harder. In 1964, he led the Lakers in scoring, averaging his usual 28, 6, and 6, finishing in the top 5 in shooting efficiency. In a league dominated by big men, West was one of the few players who were efficient at shooting from long distances. The NBA didn't institute the three-point line until 1979, but Jerry was the only...
Oh, that means he would have averaged a lot more if they had the three-point line that entire time. So this guy was putting up crazy numbers.
The NBA didn't institute the three-point line until 1979, but Jerry was the only guy in the NBA who could consistently make jumpers from 20 feet or more. However, despite West's and Baylor's brilliance, the Lakers...
Oh, so you didn't have to be able to shoot back in the day to get to make the NBA. Oh, okay. So it's one of the gripes I've always given. I'm like, all right, who was he playing against? He wasn't playing against Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, Stephen Curry, you name it. These point guards, Derrick Rose. All right, he wasn't going against these type of guys. He was going against guys that can't shoot, obviously, since it was a unique skill that he had. But where he gets the credit is that he innovated it. You know, like he sounds like one of the innovators that made that more a thing to be able to spread the floor and shoot from further away.
Till 1979, but Jerry was the only guy in the NBA who could consistently make jumpers from 20 feet or more. However, despite West's and Baylor's brilliance, the Lakers had a mediocre season, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Angrier and hungrier than ever, Jerry came into the next season with guns blazing.
Looks like Elvis with that lighting.
With 31 points per game, he was the second best scorer in the NBA, behind the almighty Wilt Chamberlain. He was also second in the league in true shooting percentage. The Lakers were the heavy favorites in the Western Finals against the Bullets, but their title dreams dropped dead after only 5 minutes of the playoffs. Elgin Baylor suffered.
When I think of Wilt Chamberlain, I don't think about his NBA numbers, all right? but he put up some numbers.
True shooting percentage. The Lakers were the heavy favorites in the Western Finals against the Bullets, but their title dreams dropped dead after only 5 minutes of the playoffs. Elgin Baylor suffered a career-threatening knee injury and was ruled out for the season, and nobody expected Lakers to win another game. But Jerry had different ideas. He carried the team on his shoulders, scoring over 40 points in each game of the series, including 52 in Game 2. The Lakers escaped with
Here's the thing about being a dog. When somebody gets hurt, that just means that I can shoot more. All right, it's not like, oh, you're down. You know, like if he's a gunner and he's 27 points a game, he was a smart gunner, but he was a gunner. You know, and that just means, hey, if he has to win for it, I just get to shoot more times. Because a lot of times, you know, the coach will only allow them to shoot a certain amount of times and play them for a certain amount of minutes. You know, but if he has the body for it, of course, you still want your partner there to guarantee a win, you know, to have the full team. But, you know, that's not going to stop someone with the heart of a lion.
Game, but Jerry had different ideas. He carried the team on his shoulders, scoring over 40 points in each game of the series, including 52 in Game 2. The Lakers escaped with a victory in 6 games, and Jerry averaged 46.3 points in the series. And that's even more impressive if you remember that he averaged 46 without a three-point line. LA made the finals again against the Celtics, and Jerry was spectacular. He averaged 34 in the series, but without Baylor, he couldn't do much against 6 future Hall of Famers. Boston won the finals in 5 games and gave Jerry his 3rd championship loss. For the 19
said 6 future. I don't think I could name anybody in that picture. Hold on.
Again against the Celtics, and Jerry was spectacular. He averaged 34 in the series, but without Baylor, he couldn't do much.
Okay. All right.
Against 6 future Hall of Famers. Boston won the finals in 5 games and gave Jerry his 3rd championship loss. For the 1966 season, Baylor returned from injury, but he was visibly struggling, averaging just 16 points per game instead of his
1966
usual 30. But thankfully, he had Jerry to carry the offensive load. West averaged a career-high 31.3 points and 58% true shooting, which led the NBA.
60%?
In the Western Finals, Jerry led the Lakers.
Man, this dude was killing it, though. I mean, he's still playing against men, all right? You know, like shooting 60%, 31 points, balling.
58% true shooting, which led the NBA. In the Western Finals, Jerry led the Lakers past the Hawks with 35, 6, and 6, shooting a phenomenal 53% from the field. In the finals, the Celtics were waiting for another duel. It seemed like Boston would cruise to another easy victory after they took a 3-1 lead in the series. The Lakers didn't want to quit. Baylor's 41 points propelled LA to a victory in Game 5, and Jerry
Look at that form.
Didn't want to quit. Baylor's 41 points propelled LA to a victory in Game 5, and Jerry's 32 points helped them win Game 6. In the deciding Game 7, Boston held a 16-point lead coming into the 4th quarter, but Jerry West was like a pit bull who wouldn't let go. He and the Lakers closed the gap and got the chance to win the game, but they fell short again, losing 95-9.
I thought it was a come from behind wins. Those are always, you know, people start leaving, getting in the cars early. I can't think of. Can you guys think of any games that you've watched? This usually happens with Super Bowls in the NFL. I remember this happened at one Super Bowl where everybody thinks the game over, everybody's driving, and then boom, the other team wins, and a bunch of people are upset. This happens with baseball, all types of sports, and those who stayed faithful and stayed down and watched the entire game got to see one of the most incredible comeback wins ever. We've seen it.
93, despite 36 points from West. When he got home, Jerry was so angry that he didn't speak to his wife for weeks, aimlessly driving around every night to numb his pain. In 1967, the Lakers dropped off, and after a late season injury to...
Oh, man, he's a wild boy, man. Okay. And she was a pretty lady.
36 points from West. When he got home, Jerry was so angry that he didn't speak to his wife for weeks, aimlessly driving around every night to numb his pain. In 1960,
that's the way they did it back then.
1967, the Lakers dropped off, and after a late season injury to West, LA got swept in the first round of the playoffs.
Damn.
In 1968, Jerry recovered, and the Lakers...
That goes to show you how important he was to the team. Swept.
LA got swept.
They still made the playoffs.
In 1968, Jerry recovered, and the Lakers never looked better. Under a new coach, and with some filling pieces alongside him and Baylor, LA defeated the Bulls 4-1 in the first round, and then swept the Warriors in a series where West shot an unbelievable 63% from the field. In the finals, you guessed it, they played against Boston. After game,
when someone shoots a really high percentage like that, that typically means that they're either really gifted, but most of the time it means that they take smart shots. They take shots that they know they can make, and you love it, versus people who just shoot it when they're open.
The series was tied at 2 apiece, but in that game, Jerry injured his ankle. He wasn't playing at full strength in games 5 or 6, and the Celtics stuck it to the Lakers once again. With 6 guys averaging over 14 points in the series, the Celtics...
It's crazy how these guys just abuse their body, in football, basketball, all these different sports, for championships.
Celtics had too many weapons, and nobody on the Lakers could rebound the ball against Bill Russell. Jerry averaged 31 points per game, but it still wasn't enough, and he was getting desperate. One off-season addition finally put a smile on Jerry's face. League MVP Wilt Chamberlain got traded to the Lakers, and LA looked destined to finally go all the way. Despite Chamberlain's poor relationship with Coach Van Bredekolf, who nearly got decapitated by Wilt during one practice, the Lakers won a franchise record 55 games. Jerry led the team in scoring.
Listen, I wouldn't want that big. I wouldn't want to fight that dude, okay? I have a younger brother who's 6'4". I'm not a tall guy. And so I've never been intimidated by the size of guys, and I had to learn how to play ball against guys who were taller than me or whatever. So, he's 6'4", played for a basketball team in high school. I never played for a team, but he couldn't beat me. Okay. And I could block a shot, I could throw it across. So I used to love when I used to get on the court and guys would guard me that were bigger than me, but I play like a big man, that type of thing. And I forgot where I was going with that point or whatever, but I like guys that play defense, that's why Dwayne Wade, I was a big fan of him and how he dedicates his entire body to the court when he plays. I think he had a commercial with him just falling down and getting up all the time, but how he was hard-nosed on defense, but he also dedicated his body to going to the rim and getting the play done. Same thing for Derrick Rose.
The Lakers won a franchise record 55 games. Jerry led the team in scoring and was the Lakers' best player in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. LA made the finals with relative ease, where for the first time, the aging Celtics were the underdog. Jerry opened the finals with 53 points in Game 1. After 5 games, the Lakers had a
53 points.
3-2 lead.
Does he ever score under 20? That's crazy. He never has a bad game.
Where for the first time, the aging Celtics were the underdog. Jerry opened the finals with 53 points in Game 1. After 5 games, the Lakers had a 3-2 lead, but the Celtics forced another Game 7. The home team won every game of the series, and the whole world expected the Lakers to win the championship in front of their fans.
Right.
And before Game 7, the Lakers owner had put up thousands of balloons in the rafters of the Los Angeles Forum. But when the Celtics saw this, it gave them extra motivation, and Jerry was pissed by the Lakers' arrogance. Thanks to Russell's defense and his brilliant outlet passes, Boston killed the Lakers in transition, and LA was down by 15 after 3 quarters. Things looked bleak for LA, and when Wilt Chamberlain went down with a knee injury, another Boston title seemed like a formality. However, Jerry West was never going to go down without a fight, and he went berserk in the 4th. The Lakers closed the gap to 103-102.
The Lakers within 1 point of the lead with about 3 to go.
The Lakers coach then refused to put Wilt back in the game due to their personal beef, and he wanted to prove that he could win the title without Chamberlain. But despite West's triple-double of 4...
What kind of coaches off emotion?
Proved that he could win the title without Chamberlain. But despite West's triple-double of 42 points, 13 rebounds, and 12 assists, Boston survived and won the game by 2 points.
Time has run out, and the Boston Celtics have done it again.
Those balloons were never released. This was the first year the NBA...
That was a horrible decision by the coach. You got to put all that aside when you're in the finals. What are you doing?
They handed out the finals MVP trophy, and Jerry won it. he is still the only recipient of the Finals MVP award from the losing team. In the series, he averaged 38 points and 7.5 assists per game, scoring or assisting on more than 50% of the Lakers' points. Bill Russell praised Jerry, saying, "Los Angeles has not won the championship, but Jerry West is a champion." After the '69 Finals, Bill Russell retired, hanging up his Chuck Taylors with more rings than fingers. 6 of Russell's 11 championships came at the expense of Jerry West. With each loss, Jerry was falling deeper into depression. Before the start of the 1970 season, the NBA designed its new logo, and they put Jerry's silhouette on it, giving him another nickname, the Logo. Unfortunately for LA, their season couldn't start worse,
That's a lot of pressure.
with serious injuries to both Chamberlain and Baylor, who played 66 games combined. But Jerry was so good that he still led the Lakers to the number 2 seed in the conference.
Jerry's the guy we end up giving the ball to, and the whole thing falls on his shoulders, and he ends up having to carry us.
West led the NBA in scoring with 31.2 points per game, on top of making the first-team All-Defense. In the playoffs, LA won their first playoff series in 7 games, and then Jerry thrashed the number 1 seeded Hawks to make it to another NBA Finals, for the first time not against the Celtics. Without Bill Russell, the New York Knicks had the best record in the NBA, and the league MVP, Willis Reed. LA and New York split the first 2 games, and in Game 3,
we know how this works out.
DeBusschere hit a mid-range jump shot with 3 seconds left to put the Knicks ahead 102-100, and the Lakers had no timeouts left. They only had time for a Hail Mary shot, and they gave the ball to West, who raced past Walt Frazier and threw up a 60-foot shot, which miraculously found the target.
West throws it up.
I say, to my recollection, the Knicks have never won a championship, right? You know, that's why I'm like, they played against the Knicks. I don't think they've ever won.
Frazier later said that Jerry was crazy and that he could see the conviction in Jerry's eyes, that he was going to make that shot. But the three-point line had not been introduced yet, so his 60-footer only just tied the game. In overtime, West sprained his left hand. The Knicks won 111-108. In Game 6, Jerry injured his right hand as well. And before Game 7, he had to get injections in both hands to be able to play. Still, the Lakers were the favorites because the Knicks were without an injured Willis Reed. But then, Reed famously returned to the lineup to galvanize the Knicks, inspiring his team to win the game and produce one of the most famous playoff upsets of all time. In the 1971 NBA season, Elgin Baylor ruptured his Achilles. West injured his knee before the playoffs, and the short-handed Lakers lost in the Western Finals. Before the 1972 NBA season, West was fed up with all the losses and considered retirement. But when a future Hall of Fame coach, Bill Sharman, joined the team, West decided to continue.
We have had about 4 nightly workouts so far, and I'm kind of sore right now.
The Lakers had a season for the ages. Despite Elgin Baylor retiring due to his Achilles injury, LA would go on to an unprecedented 33-game win streak, which is still an NBA record. They would finish.
Okay, so I had it wrong. The Knicks did win. They won in 1970 and 1973. Okay, got it.
Season for the ages. Despite Elgin Baylor retiring due to his Achilles injury, LA would go on to an unprecedented 33-game win streak, which is still an NBA record. They would finish the season with a then-record 69 wins, and West shined with 26 points and a league-leading 9.7 assists per game. Jerry is one of just 5 players in NBA history who led the NBA in both scoring and assists. In the postseason, the Lakers defeated the Bulls and the Bucks, and in the finals, they again faced the Knicks. Although West suffered a terrible shooting slump throughout the series, thanks to phenomenal play by Wilt Chamberlain and Gail Goodrich, the Lakers finally won the NBA championship. I played terrible basketball in the finals, and we won. It was particularly frustrating to win it this way, because I was playing so poorly. I believed that winning would feel so much better. When I finally won the title, I asked myself, is that really all there is to it? In 1973, the Lakers
the guy's real hard on himself.
Won 60 games and reached another finals against the Knicks. During the series, West strained both of his hamstrings, and the short-handed Lakers were no match for New York, who won the championship in 5 games. West entered the 1974 NBA season as a 36-year-old vet, but he still averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game.
Okay, he had to get older.
But with the aging Jerry and without Chamberlain, who had ended his NBA career, the Lakers lost in the first round of the playoffs. West still wanted to keep going, but had contract disagreements with the Lakers management. And because he didn't want to play for any other franchise, he was forced to retire. West left the game as the NBA's third leading scorer, and his average of 27 points per game stands as the fourth highest among retired players.
Wow.
If he had played in the three-point era, he'd probably average over 30 points per game and have a few more championships. Jerry made the finals 9 times in 14 seasons. The Lakers lost 8 of them, 4 of which came down to Game 7.
All on the same team.
1962, 1966, and 1969, Jerry and the Lakers lost 3 Game 7s to the Celtics, 7 points.
I guess this is why so many people go against LeBron with switching from team to team, because when you look at the history of the NBA, a lot of the original legends were loyal to their team, but, to their credit, a lot of these teams had smarter staff than my team, which was the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay. They've always made, and the Browns, okay, always made a bunch of stupid decisions, which is why I don't even watch sports anymore. It's too depressing, or whatever. But I do like going through the old tapes and watching, because it was more competitive, and I enjoy some things that were not connected being connected now. Like it makes sense now why, when you hear a lot of the vets talk about Jerry West, why they talk about him in that way.
7. In 1962, 1966, and 1969, Jerry and the Lakers lost 3 Game 7s to the Celtics by a combined 7 points. West said that he'd become so depressed after losses that he wanted to commit suicide on many occasions. How much of a perfectionist he was is best illustrated by a game in which he hit.
I thought I was competitive. Okay, I'm in real life, I'm a competitive person. I ain't never been that competitive. I've watched the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary probably 5 times. One of my favorite documentaries. And Michael Jordan is so competitive. He competes against, the cab driver. It doesn't matter. He'll play anything for money. But Jerry West has topped that. Okay, I'm talking about wanting to take yourself out. That's how bad. That's insanity. But that's also why we got such good entertainment.
West said that he'd become so depressed after losses that he wanted to commit suicide on many occasions. How much of a perfectionist he was is best illustrated by a game in which he hit 16 of 17 shots from the field, all 12 free throw attempts, plus 12 rebounds, 12 assists, and 10 block shots.
So basically, if you want a better NBA, you got to start beating your kids.
After the game, he said he didn't feel he played very well and that he'd spend all night thinking about the one layup he missed.
Man, that's insane. I'm a fan of competitors. When I was younger, I was more competitive with just the sheer power, athleticism, and intangibles. Can you handle the ball? Can you shoot? Are you good under the clutch? Do you make smart decisions on the court? Those things. But, if you're a fan of the NBA, you probably might have Jerry West in your top 5 simply because all the things he contributed to the sport and innovated. And the thing that he has made the NBA a beautiful thing back then is one of the biggest things people are complaining that the NBA lacks today. So, at least I learned a lot of things about Jerry West today, and it's impressive. It's inspiring. Last question. Who's your favorite point guard and why? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this type of content, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys for watching. Peace.